Did you know that every year, approximately 1 million people die from suicide alone? That's one death every 40 seconds. By the end of this video, 7.5 people will have already committed suicide. If that wasn't enough, there are now doctors who have sworn an oath to do no harm who are now assisting people in suicide. Euthanasia is now legal in 5 different countries, while assisted suicide is legal in 11 different countries and states. Have you ever stopped to wonder, is this our decision to make? When you wake up in the morning and start your day, have you ever thought to yourself, I am grateful to be alive? Have you ever thought, wow, I am still alive? Probably not, but don't worry, I haven't either. However, I know that I have the privilege of waking up every morning and still be alive. I don't know about you, but I have the privilege of waking up every morning and having the will to live. For those of you sitting here today, living your life, have you thought of those who might be alive but cannot live? Now, being alive and living are 2 different things. To breathe and to have a heartbeat is what it means to be alive. To feel, to enjoy, and to experience things you've never before is what it means to live. How would life feel if all you could do was breathe and have a heartbeat and nothing else? Hopeless. I would feel hopeless, and that's how people sitting in a hospital bed 24/7 feel. They don't get to live like you and me. They get to lay in bed in agonizing pain with no control over their own bodies. They get to depend on those who love them, hoping that they don't become a burden and be abandoned. To them, death is freedom. Freedom from the pain, freedom from the suffering, and even freedom for those they become a burden to. Doesn't this sound familiar to you? It's what people who go through depression think as well. They're alive but are not living. They are breathing but cannot appreciate every breath. They go through their days wishing it would end sooner. Those of us who have the will to live can't ever grasp the pain of wanting to let go. You wouldn't tell a suicidal teen standing on a bridge that they're a murderer and sinful. Instead, you would ask them why they're hurting and help them find a reason to live. The teen wasn't trying to play God. They just wanted to end their pain. The same goes for those who request euthanasia. To answer the question from before, this isn't our decision to make. No matter how much pain you are in, we don't have the right to decide who lives and who dies. But people still do. Do we call these people murderers? If they are, how do we bring justice to those who are already dead? In Romans 14:8 it says, "For if we live to the Lord, and if we die to the Lord. So then, whether we live or whether we die, we are the Lord's." Our life is not our own. It is not up to us to decide whether we shall end it or not. Not only is our life not our own, we have been created in God's image. In Genesis 1:27 it says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them." God shaped every one of us to his liking. We are his creation, and we reflect our Creator. So as much as we wouldn't shred one of Van Gogh's paintings, no matter how ugly we think it is, we shouldn't take the life of a man or woman God carefully crafted. I cannot play God. Doctors cannot play God. Patients cannot play God. There's only one God, and he decides who lives and dies. But why does he allow us to suffer so much? Well, he doesn't. Sin entered the world, tainting us with pain and suffering, which we have no choice but to endure. You might say this is unfair, but nothing about the grace of God is fair. It is said in James 1:12, "Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him." We cannot know if those who believe yet take their own life will have eternal life, but we do know that we can be there for them during their living hours. We cannot save people. We can't always convince people to live, but this is not our burden to bear. All we can do is be there for them. We love because Jesus loved us first. You and I can't change the law today, or maybe even tomorrow or ever, but we can understand. We can understand without agreeing. A mother who loses her child from suicide would not blame her child for their suffering, and much like that, we should not sit here and blame a patient for wanting to end their suffering. We should try to understand why. Nobody wants to die. They just want to end their suffering.